Good Friday morning and welcome to Korea Today.
President Park Geun-hye says efforts will be made to realize permanent peace on the Korean peninsula in a phone conversation with UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon a day after North Korean leader Kim Jong-un stressed the need for improved inter-Korean relations.
Meanwhile, Washington says its policy toward North Korea will not change in the new year. Details just ahead. And Korea's benchmark Kospi joined other world markets in its New Year's tumble. We'll have that story coming up on In Print.
The theater district of Seoul. Stay tuned for a closer look at some of the longest running performances in Daehangno.
Each of their songs since 2009 have become major hits. The lovely girl group Secret is back with their third album. We'll sit down with Secret to find out the secret to their success. It's the ultimate source of energy for all Koreans. Rice is what keeps people going all day. From the good old bowl of rice to rice desserts and drinks, Matthew Chung has them all on this Friday, January 3rd, 2014.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
Good morning. You are joining us on the first Friday of the new year on Korea Today.
Good morning, everyone. If you don't want to start the new year with the flu, you'd better get vaccinated against the seasonal influenza as soon as possible. The Korea Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued the flu advisory just yesterday, saying the number of people who've come down with the flu has reached over 15 out of every 1,000 people.
The symptoms are common, as well as it's actually similar to the common cold, but it varies in severity, but displays more severe symptoms in patients, may also lead to secondary complications such as pneumonia. And health officials say that the best way to keep the flu out of your life is by washing your hands frequently.
And to get vaccinated against the flu. I've been putting it off for some time now. I think I'll get it out of the way today.
Exactly. It takes 2 weeks for those antibodies to form, so you better get it today.
I don't want to start the new year with the flu.
All right.
All right, we'll go to the day's headlines with Daehangno.
2014 will be an important year for the Korean peninsula in opening an era of peace, says President Park Geun-hye. This is what she told UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon in a New Year's phone conversation, a day after North Korean leader Kim Jong-un called for improved inter-Korean relations. President Park told the UN chief she plans on putting a lot of emphasis on warming relations with Pyongyang this year. Now, the president also asked the Secretary General for his help in achieving that goal. Meanwhile, regarding speculations that the presidential office is carrying out a major reshuffle, this is what the presidential chief of staff said at an unexpected press conference.
Now is an important time for the cabinet to unite forces and carry out state affairs without any uncertainties. So the president is not considering a reshuffle at this point.
Kim's announcement comes after 10 high-ranking officials at the Prime Minister's office offered to resign late last month, and also after presidential spokesperson Kim Heng voluntarily stepped down at the end of last year as well. Cheongwade has not accepted the resignation of the 10 officials yet. The United States says its North Korea policy in the new year will continue to be the denuclearization of the regime. At a regular press briefing Thursday local time, U.S. State Department Deputy Spokesperson Marie Harf said Washington will continue to make decisions based upon Pyongyang's actions, not its words. Harf declined to analyze North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's New Year's message, but did say the U.S. is constantly consulting with China on the issue. As for Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's recent visit to the Yasukuni Shrine honoring war criminals in Tokyo, Harf said Washington has been urging Japan to solve historical issues with its neighbors in an amicable manner. South Korea's Foreign Minister Yoon Byung-se is scheduled to meet with U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry in Washington next week to discuss the diplomatic situation in Northeast Asia. It's been almost a week since the nation's longest ever rail strike ended. The state-run train operator Floral is making headway in normalizing operations, but the services are still running at just 75% of normal capacity, although all union workers are back on the job. Floral explains it's because it is running education as well as therapy sessions for the returned workers. Operations of trains in the metropolitan area are scheduled to be back to normal by January 6th. All other train services will be running at 100% by January 14th. Now, train ticket reservations for the upcoming Lunar New Year holiday will begin next Tuesday as planned. Floral CEO Choi Yeon-hae says the company will be sure to take punitive measures against those responsible for leading the strike. Despite dominating positive outlooks for the year, Korea's benchmark Kospi opened the new year with a somewhat disappointing first trading session. The main index tumbled more than 2% on Thursday, closing at 1,967.1. Analysts say it's because of the strengthening local currency against the greenback, as well as concerns over the biggest component of the Kospi, Samsung Electronics, ailing sales forecast for last year's fourth quarter, and the weakening Japanese yen also still poses a threat to the Korean economy.
How the Japanese yen trades will be the most important factor. The Bank of Japan will likely continue its aggressive monetary policy in 2014, so it's highly likely that the yen will continue to weaken.
But experts also add because the Korean economy relies heavily on trade, signs of the U.S. as well as the European economy picking up will help Korea move towards further economic growth this year.
And happy Friday, everyone. Time for a look through your newspaper headlines. Let's go ahead and kick off today's in print with the look at the front page of 조선일보, which continues its New Year's special series titled One Korea, New Asia. And the main headline there showcases the degree of advancements in North Korea's progression into market economy activities, as it reads 90% of North Korean citizens already entrenched in marketization. Now, the corresponding image shows scenes of a free market economy, a woman in North Korea's second largest city, Hamhung, filling an oil barrel there at a gas station, and workers at a clothing factory in the special economic zone of Nasan. The article cites the figure from a study by the Korea Institute for International Economic Policy based on the UN's 2008 census report. And based on that study, it projects that the figure of North Koreans who participate in market economy activities in one way or another is now in the upper 80s, while some 70% of their income is believed to come from the buying and selling of goods. More than 74% are believed to have actually sold products at a marketplace. The subheadlines add that this puts the marketization ratio of North Korea higher than that of East Germany before it reunited with the West. All right, let's go ahead and scoot on over to 중앙일보 next. It also has a headline related to North Korea, and it reads, 4 years since May 24th measure to Korea should now turn to dialogue. And the May 24th measure, you may remember, were sanctions that Seoul placed on Pyongyang following North Korea's sinking of the Cheonan naval vessel back in 2010. The action to put a stop on any economic activities under the Lee Myung-bak administration has been under review to be lifted, and the paper is certainly pushing for that and a turn toward easing tensions. The subheadlines there add that the division is to blame for the Korea's struggle in grasping leadership in East Asia. All right, we'll leave that there for now and scoot on over to Gyeongyang Shinmun for a quick look at its main headline. It reads, figures confirm society enrooted in educational background. And the subheadlines explain that this is referring to a comprehensive report compiled by the Korea Development Institute for such report by a government agency. And the inserted graph actually shows the rise in importance that educational background and connections have in success as perceived by parents, by 2010, you can see nearing very close to the 50% mark there. And speaking of numbers, let's go ahead and wrap things up with a look at the business daily for today. The big business story this morning is the bearish opening of the stock markets this 2014. And Korea Economic Daily's headline reads, "Strong won, Samsung shock, stock markets uneasy kickoff." And as you heard in our headlines, Korea's benchmark Kospi took quite a dive. And you can see in the inserted chart what that looks like exactly, quite steep, as it dipped 44.15 points from the last trading day of. Now, market bellwethers Samsung Electronics also saw its stock value plunge by nearly 4.6%. This amid a forecast by BNP Paribas that the tech giant would miss its fourth quarter earnings forecast by some 2 trillion won, roughly $2 billion, in part due to lagging demand for smartphones and also in part due to the strengthening won. Now, the latter is feared to not only affect Samsung, but auto exports as well. And with that, we'll wrap your look at what's in print on this Friday. Next up are your closing numbers from the first trading day of the year.
We're expecting a cloudy day today.
Yeah.
Not a cold day, a cloudy day.
A cloudy day.
It hasn't been that cold. I think this weather is going to last throughout the weekend. Last time I checked. For a closer look at the weather, we'll go to Lee Dami joining us from the city of Yongin in Gyeonggi-do. Good morning, Dami.
Cute earmuff. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, and thank you, TGIF. Today I'm reporting live from Yongin, Gyeonggi-do. We are starting out this morning with mild conditions once again. Temperatures right now are -1 degree Celsius, but later in the day our highs will rise all the way up to 8 degrees, giving us a fairly warm afternoon. Now, we will be seeing clear and mild conditions throughout today and throughout the weekend. However, you may want to keep in mind about the air as the smog has returned. The level of fine dust will be ranging between 81 to 120 micrograms, so it is slightly bad. So do keep that in mind. Now, it looks like we will have clear conditions, but until next Wednesday, that's when we are expecting to receive nationwide snow or rain, and the cold snap will return, making the temperatures plummet significantly. But let's go ahead and take a look at the weather for today. Here in Seoul, highs are at 8, Daejeon at 9, Daegu at 11, Gangneung at 10, Busan at 13, Gwangju at 12, and Jeju Island at 14 degrees. That's all I have for the weather forecast. I'll be back in the latter half.
Thank you very much, Tommy. Now, home to mostly independent and experimental theater, Daehangno has been dubbed the Off-Broadway of Seoul. Now, it's earned the rightful reputation for a free-spirited, youthful hub of culture, and Im Yoon-hee has more on some of its best performances. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. That's right. The scene at Daehangno is very diverse. You're going to find museums, galleries, a lot of showings, but you know, the Daehangno is known as the theater district, and that's because they have over 40 theaters in the area. Now, most of the performances there are open run showings, and according to Interpark ticket sales, the top 2 reserved shows are the plays Liar and the Cat in the Penthouse, respectively. And so these 2 have held the top positions for quite some time now. And so they are very popular, and some of them have been around for years. And so let's take a look at what makes these 2 the most popular in Daehangno.
Daehangno holds a special place in Seoul's art. It's a cultural hotspot for theater performances. Some are new, and some have made their permanent residency in the community. Liar is a very famous play and is still quite popular, so I came here to watch it with my friends.
I was on the internet and the ticket vendor site showed Liar as being #1 on the rankings list. Everyone seems to enjoy the show and it's supposed to make people laugh.
How does one man keep 2 wives? By telling lie after lie, of course. John Smith is just your everyday taxi driver, except for the fact that he's got a big secret. But one lie turns into another, and now he's trapped himself in his own web. His poor choices and the consequences that follow sends this crowd into roars of laughter again and again.
There are messages hidden within every line of Liar, so it's very important for the actors to portray each of these. The actors have to be very serious in every scene, almost too serious. But that's what makes this comedy so funny.
Since 1999, this play has established itself as one of the many open-run performances along Daehangno. 15 years and 3 million tickets later, it's still going strong. This tale has been enjoyed by a vast audience and has even earned the name People's Play.
They call Liar the People's Play. The reason being, it's been shown for over 15 years, without a single break in the middle, making it the oldest running in Daehangno, regardless of generation or gender. The story is easy to understand, so anyone can come and comfortably enjoy it. That's why it's called a People's Play.
The actors here will make you laugh until your stomach hurts and the tears roll down your face as John Smith continues down his path as the Liar. Just down the street, there are more stories you can find on other stages along Daehangno. A love tale unfolds as 2 strangers find that they've just rented the same penthouse. Back and forth, they argue who actually has ownership. And what starts out as a mistake turns out to be an interesting tale on the rooftops of Seoul.
Young man, the cat in penthouse actor on the very top is where you'll find the slightly rundown, cheapest space of the building. The heater doesn't really work, so it's really cold during the winter and too hot during the summer. It's here that this poor couple shares many experiences, and that's where love starts to bloom.
At first, it's awkward, even uncomfortable, when these 2 decide to share the room. Like children, they bicker, argue, and even draw a line down the middle, marking their territories. But this line doesn't last long. Overlooking the city view, they share a couple beers, and for a moment, it even looks like they're falling in love, something this audience can relate to.
Generally, during the winter, romantic comedies are more popular. Couples can watch the cat in the penthouse casually and comfortably. People really enjoy the show and even rewatch it multiple times because the cast is rotated frequently, so there are always new faces for people to see.
And you can't forget about the love story of the cats, or more like the landlords, and the pizza delivery man, and the Chinese food delivery man. The various supporting characters are hilariously acted by the 2 same people, who also have to set up the versatile props. Sometimes unwillingly, in the middle of a scene. The actors make it both entertaining and interactive. And what started as a mistake turns into the best accident of their lives. In the end, despite all quarrels, love prevails for the cats, and even possibly for the young couple as well.
In The Cat in the Penthouse, the 2 young couple as well as the cats fall in love. It reflects the young generation's dreams and their experiences with love, so people coming to watch can both relate to and enjoy it. People who watch can share different emotions with each other and recuperate.
I mean, if you've been to Daehangno, you will notice that it's always full of energy. And I grew up hearing about how my parents used to hang out in Daehangno all the time. So I'm wondering, how far back does the history of Daehangno go?
You know, Daehangno gets its name because Seoul National University was originally located there, and after they moved, the college atmosphere survived. And so it's no secret that theater is very difficult financially, but before the area became a cultural hotspot, it was considered on the cheaper side, so some smaller theaters sort of set up shop there, and the other ones just decided to follow suit. So that's how we get the theater district you see today.
Now, if you walk through the streets of Daehangno, you'll notice that there's a lot of college students, university students, and it's a very youthful atmosphere. Now, what kind of an effect does the young demographic have on the types of plays being performed in Daehangno?
You know, so we saw earlier in the report that romantic comedies are popular, especially during the winter time. And the reason being is that the area is chock full of young couples. There are still a few schools nearby, and when I went to see these two plays, the majority of the audience was made up of student couples. And because these couples are young, they tend to enjoy comedies, but they're in love, this blooming love, and so they want to watch these romantic comedies that remind them of themselves.
I like the kissing scene. I kind of enjoyed it.
I like the slapping scene.
All right, well, tickets to these performances in Daehangno are usually cheaper than other shows, but there are ways to enjoy them even cheaper, I hear.
Yes, so that is right. All of these tickets are available on major ticket vendors, but if you do a little digging, you'll find some excellent deals. I know with Lyre, if you catch a matinee showing, you can get over 50% off. And with the Cat in the Penthouse, they say that there's staff members walking around with a cat mask, so if you find them, take a picture with them and bring it with you, you can receive a similar deal. Yeah, with these smaller theaters, they change out the cast frequently, and so many people rewatch this show. In fact, 40% of the Lyre audience has seen the show before, and so you can watch it tonight with your significant other on a date, and you can go back tomorrow with your friends, and it'll be a completely different experience.
I guess that slapping scene just keep bringing people back to that.
That'll be there.
I guess you don't want to be the actor getting the slap, right? Well, all right. Well, it sounds like a great place to go. I mean, one of the charms about it is you can just walk through there, have dinner, and say, hey, what play do you want to watch? And pick and choose what you like, right?
Yes, always something to do there.
All right, sounds great. Thank you very much for that report.
My pleasure.
All right, still ahead on Korea Today, Denny Hong will be joining us later on, and he had a chance to meet the group Secret, and they captivate their fans with their cute and lovely charm, but they also do a 180 with their powerful and sexy style. So we'll get a look at their new songs and their adorable dance moves.
We are smack in the middle of winter and people on the streets are all bundled up. It's a completely different story on the runway, though. Spring and summer have hit the fashion industry already.
Yeah, exactly. And, let's forget about the cold for a minute and stay one season ahead. So let's check out what's in trend for 2014 for the spring and summer fashion.
The biting cold temperatures continue, but it's already time to get ready for spring. For all those into fashion, it's time to tune in for a preview of the 2014 spring and summer trends. Alright, I'm starting to get it. A long-favored look by many, floral patterns re-emerge each spring as steady sellers, and this year, again, they dominate the runway. The floral patterns that are in this year boast bolder colors and small and detailed patterns rather than large prints.
The floral patterns all go well together, so what could be hard to wear is very pretty.
As pretty as they may be, floral prints can sometimes be difficult to wear. Small patterns can help you look slimmer, while strong contrasting print colors against the base color can accentuate your curves. Floral patterns will also be big in menswear this season.
This season, the floral patterns are extremely beautiful.
This year, the unisex appeal or genderless fashion is expected to be all the rage, and floral prints are likely to lead this trend. This year, skinny fits are out of the door, and in come flowy, loose clothing that will take over shop windows this season.
This winter season, oversized coats were extremely popular, and this loose-fit fashion trend will continue into the spring.
With a loose-fitting knit or blouse, you can draw out a lovely and innocent look. And with wide leg pants instead of your skinny jeans, you can add a layer of urban chicness. If you hid those wide leg pants away in the closet because of the skinny boom, now it is time to bring them out again. And if possible, not only wide but long enough to drag is even better.
The colors that come to mind when you say spring, such as the orchid color or yellow, and pastel colors will likely be popular.
The colors in season are light purple or orchid and pastel blue, which dominated the collections of spring and summer. Pastel colors are not only bright but warm and add a great feminine touch to the look. It's also easy to coordinate, which is why it's expected to be popular with women this season. Especially, it's the sheer clothing in pastel tones that create a perfect romantic and sexy look, which is on the rise. The tight-fitting necklaces have been a favorite of many rock stars in the past. But in 2014, chokers, which highlight the feminine touch and bring to light the characteristics of the materials used, will be popular. Even on a leather band, a flower pendant can give the necklace a soft touch. With dresses that expose the collarbone, chokers sit perfectly, adding a touch of elegant but seductive charm. If the fall and winter trends of 2013 were dominated by deep shades of eyeshadow and lipstick based on a burgundy, this season, take off the layers with a bright and simple tone.
Makeup in the blue colors are expected to lead the trends, and simple and light makeup will be popular.
With top stars Ko Jun-hee, Song Hye-kyo, Yoon In-hae, and IU last year, Korea saw a boom in the short bob cuts, and the trend continues this year into the spring and summer.
Because the leading trend will be the chic and natural look, it will be good to style your bob cut in waves that are more natural looking to go with spring.
If existing bobbed haircuts added waves with in-world curls, this year it's all about the natural waves. With this look, you can create a much lighter and livelier look. Ponytails that look like they've been carelessly tied up are one of the best looks to put on. Remember that it's not a high ponytail that sits on top of your head, but a low ponytail with some volume that's more the look this season. How about embracing the new looks for the upcoming spring and summer 2014 trends and taking your style to the next level?
All right, so what's the secret to their fame and success? We sat down with Secret to find out their secret, and Denny Hong joins us with this story. Good morning.
So what's their secret?
That was very punny, right? It seems like we're doing a lot of these puns here, but it was nice to meet up with the girl group, of course, and of course they are very successful right now with their comeback as well as their new hit song, I Do, which I enjoy the melody of the song too. And so we're gonna talk about them after we look at, well, the interview that I had with them. So let's take a look. Since their debut in 2009, the girl group Secret has put out a stream of hit songs with each album. And they are back with their third album, Gift from Secret, and with it, an added layer of musical flair and charm. We sit down with the girl group.
코리아 투데이 시청자 여러분, 시작은 시크릿입니다. 안녕하세요.
Their most recent album, Gift from Secret, has 4 songs, including the intro track, with jazz and hip-hop elements as well as R&B-infused ballad songs, breaking out of the group's conventional style of music. Their title track, I Do, has become a favorite with many upon release, full of the group's sweet and fun tunes.
팬 여러분 팬여러분들께 서비스 해드리는 선물 같은 그런 앨범으로 준비를 했어요. 그래서 저희가 여태까지는 좀 시도해보지 않았던 그런 따뜻한 곡들로 수록이 되어 있고 타이틀곡 아이두는 좋아하는 사람에게 고백하기 직전에 그런 설레는 마음을 담은 그런 사랑스러운 노래예요.
One of the group's greatest attractions has been their characteristic dance moves, and this album is not an exception.
이번 안무의 포인트 춤은 펭귄 춤이라고 있어요. 그래서 굉장히 귀여운데 한번 보여드리도록 하겠습니다. 하나, 둘. Yes, I do, I do. Do I do? Yes, I do, I do. 와.
Penguin dance. 귀여워요. They are also known for having a powerful image. In stark contrast to their cute girl next door look, their transition from songs like Magic, Madonna, and Poison, which were full of their sexy charm, to bright and lovely songs like Starlight, Shy Boy, and Yoo-Hoo reflects exactly that. With these contrasting styles, the girl group manages to encapsulate a broad fan base from all age groups, men and women alike. So what would you say is a unique quality that you possess as a group compared to some other groups out there?
유니크 퀄리티.
네.
저희 시크릿은 아까도 말씀드렸듯이 파워풀한 그런 섹시한 곡도 소화가 가능하고 이렇게 귀엽고 러블리한 곡도 소화가 가능하다는 게 저희의 장점인 것 같아요. 멤버들 각자 이제 가진 매력이 다 달라서 파워풀하더라도 시크릿만의 밝고 그런 섹시한 파워풀함, 귀여운 걸 하더라도 시크릿만의 밝고 귀여운 그런 사랑스러움 그런 게 있는 것 같아요.
Okay.
Only unique quality.
알겠습니다. Thank you. It's not just their choreography that oozes with cuteness, a known trademark for the group. It's also found in their facial expressions. What's the secret behind this charm?
원래 이게 쉽게 보여주는 거 아닌데. 1, 2, 3, 짠! 1, 2, 3. 오케이, 큐트 섹시.
Secret's popularity transcends borders, reaching out to fans in other countries. On December 8th of last year, the girl group held a fan meeting, Winter Story, in Tokyo Shinagawa Stellar Ball, shortly before their official comeback. Even though it had been almost a year since they last visited the country, large crowds joined in to celebrate with the girl group.
아쉽게도 도쿄에서만 저희가 팬미팅을 1위로 진행을 했거든요, 2회로. 근데 이제 다른 오사카나 뭐 이런 타 지방에서 오신 분들이 너무 아쉬워하시는 게 저희도 좀 마음에 걸리지만 그래도 굉장히 즐겁게 무대를 마무리하고 팬분들과 친구처럼 뭐 노래만 부르는 게 아니라 선물도 드리고 함께 게임도 하고 하면서 즐거운 시간을 가졌던 것 같아요. Yes, I do, I do.
The four-piece girl group Secret has started the new year off with a dose of their cute and lovely charm, and many more transformations can be expected from the group. Are there any goals that you set for yourself before your debut that haven't come true yet for you, and are you closer to those goals?
해외에서는 단독 콘서트를 해봤는데 아직 한국에서는 해본 적이 없어서 멤버들 모두 바라고 있고 팬 여러분들도 굉장히 좀 언제 하나 많이 기다리시더라고요. 그래서 저희가 좀 기회가 된다면 올해에는 시크릿 딱 이렇게 해서 한국에서 국내에서 콘서트를 해보고 싶어요.
Okay. Do you have any words that you'd like to say to your fans overseas?
세계 어디서든 시크릿을 응원해 주시는 분들이 많아서 너무너무 행복합니다. 앞으로도 기회가 된다면 그곳에 가서 좋은 무대 꼭 보여드리도록 노력할 테니까 앞으로 한국에서도 열심히 활동하는 시크릿한테 많은 기대해 주시고 많이 사랑해 주세요. 올해에도 더욱더 열심히 하는 시크릿 될 테니까요. 앞으로 많은 사랑 부탁드릴게요. 하나, 둘, 셋. 해피 뉴 이어!
So cute. I've seen you do many interviews. It's the first time I've seen you starstruck completely head over heels.
I wouldn't say I was starstruck.
Was it the dance, Denny?
It was the dance. It was the penguin dance. You know? Actually, that's what they called it. They're naming it the penguin dance. And so it is a very cute one, obviously. And meeting them, because for me, actually, if I go to like swing dance clubs and go out and enjoy myself dancing, I hear their music a lot. Actually, a couple of their tunes have made it into performances that I've seen in the dance arena, like Shy Boy, Yoo-Hoo, and of course, this one I can see because of the similar swing melody. I can see it become very popular in the swing dance scene. So that's probably why I was more laughing, and their personality definitely was.
I mean,
nice.
you know,
Just
you
admit
did.
it, you enjoyed it.
I did.
Yeah,
I can't play favorites,
and
but it was
enjoyed
definitely
it to
a
the
fun interview.
fullest. I mean, but then you know you did very well if your work is recognized on a governmental level, and that's what they did last year, right? They won an award.
That's right. So the Korean government gives out, of course, every year an award for those that contributed a lot to the development of the pop culture in Korea and culture overseas. And so along with, of course, Jo Young-pil last year when he made his comeback, and of course, movie actor An Sung-gi and Secret themselves also received an award for how they are spreading Korean pop culture globally.
I mean, out of all the idol groups that we have.
Yeah, those are some big namers that they got an award with, right? Well, they're getting awards right now. But it's not like they became famous right off the bat. They actually had to fight for their fame and their success.
Well, if you think about when they debuted, it was a tough year for them. In 2009, when they came out with their song, I Want You Back. And that one didn't get as much popularity until the next year when they had their breakthrough with, of course, Magic and Madonna. But when it comes to their music, they debuted along with After School, 21, 4 Minute, Tiara, FX. And so those are some big names. That's some big competition to go against. And they also went on some TV programs talking about how at the time, before they made their breakthrough, it was humble beginnings in the sense that they were living in kind of a basement apartment. And so I think with that and people listening and listening to their story, their music got a little more popular with fans just trying to support them. But their music is great. I mean, but going from I guess more the R&B dance pop genre of like Magic and Madonna, then swinging all the way to the other side, more the cute image, they have a lot of versatility.
So that's their secret, the versatility, I suppose.
I would say so.
Okay. Thank you, Denny, for this story.
No problem.
All right, thank you very much. Now, we just talked about an idol group, the idol group Secret, but it looks like the top 5 has been making a shift because of the cold weather from idols to solo artists and duets. We'll take a look at the top 5.
마음 약한 소리가 지금여 You want my destiny 그대 You want my destiny 그대 You want my everything 그대
I know Christmas is over, but dashing through the snow
on a one-horse open sleigh.
It's over? I'm still wearing green. What are you talking about?
Tami will be on a sleigh this morning, minus the horse, though.
All right. There's a new park that opened up for the winter season. We'll go over to Tami. Tami, tell us all about it.
Look at her.
That looks like fun.
I'm back, reporting live from Korea's representative theme park, Everland, which is located in Yongin, Gyeonggi-do. Now, it is the winter season, and there is a special festival that is taking place. It's none other than the Snow Festival, which will be taking place until the end of February. Now, there are many programs that visitors can enjoy, and of the many, today I will be going snow sledding! Yay! Now, snow sledding is something that people of all ages can enjoy at a very affordable price. It is much safer than skiing or snowboarding, so it's enjoyable by children as well. Now, what's great about here at Everland is that there are a variety of routes that you can take, starting from the nice and easy ones for the toddlers, and then the very exciting and thrilling ones for the adults. They have just about everything. So right now, we're at one right now, so let's go ahead and go down and see what this one is like, all right? Let's go! Woo! Okay, oh my goodness! Woo! Woo! Korea today! 2014! Oh my goodness, this is really fast! Woo! Yeah! Oh my goodness! I'm out of breath. Wow, that was a lot of fun. All right, so what's great about snow sledding is that going down the hill is a lot of fun, but going up is a lot of work. But here at Everland, they do provide a lift for the visitors, so you don't have to do any walking. That was so much fun. You have to experience it for yourself. It is the winter, so why not go outside and enjoy some snow sledding, as it is a fun, thrilled sport that you can enjoy with your friends and loved ones. That's all I have for now. I'm Idami, Korea Today.
Wow, give a round of applause to the cameraman there. And either way, good Friday morning to you all as we kick things off with the South Korean national football team. Now with all the overseas players headed over to the respective clubs, players from the K-League Classic and the J-League will be headed over to overseas in preparation for the World Cup. Now starting on the 13th of this month, Hong Myung-bo and crew will be headed over to Brazil to kick off their training before making their stops in Costa Rica, Mexico, and the United States. Now, the team will return to Korea on February 3rd with Gwangsa Evergrande's Kim Young-kwon deciding to take a break. Meanwhile, a couple of players will be joining the squad for the first time. Moving on, good news for all you mixed martial art fans out here in the nation. We might finally have a UFC event take place here in the nation. According to Mark Fisher, the UFC rep for Asia, Korea might host their very first UFC event late this year or at the latest earlier next year. With more and more Korean fighters joining the UFC and the growing number of people watching the UFC here in the nation, Korea is becoming an attractive destination for a UFC event. While an exact date hasn't been set, Fisher stated that because of all the names like Chung Chang-sung and Kim Dong-hyun, ticket sales won't be a problem here in Korea. And moving on to some Thursday night's KBL action, we had one game that took place last night as Ulsan Mobis Phoebus took on Jeonju KCC Aegis, so let's take a look at the highlights. Now, first quarter of the game, Mobis off to a nice start here, take a 20-17 lead before Tyler Wilkinson leads the way for KCC as KCC rallies back to tie this game 43 apiece going into halftime. By the third quarter of the game, Mobis offense lights it up, outscoring KCC 26-19. And despite Wilkerson finishing off game-high 29 points and 10 rebounds, Mobis hangs on to take this game 89-84. And now finishing things off in the V-League, we had one game take place as well as Kepco Vicstorm took on Russian Cash Vespit, so let's take a look at the highlights. Now Kepco looking to end their losing streak in this game as they powered through in the first set 26-24. The red-hot Russian Cash bounced back in the next three sets, sweeping the last three sets 25-19, 25-20, and 26-24 with Arpad Barotti putting up 28 points, Song Myung-gun 18 points, and Kim Yoo-min with 14, as Russian Cash escapes last place with a 3-1 victory. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great weekend, everyone, and see you guys again for your sports needs.
Rice is an integral part of the Korean breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's a very important part of it. All those side dishes are merely side dishes to go with your rice. That's how important rice is. And to talk more about rice, joining us is Matthew Chung, Rice Baby. Good morning.
Good morning, Matthew. What was that?
That was
Where
pretty
did that
awful.
come from?
So let's get things back on track. Yes, rice. So rice is definitely a staple here in Korea. So you mentioned breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But how about snacks and desserts as well? Now, Korea's not alone. Rice provides probably about 20% of the world's calories, and it's just eaten that commonly around the world. But what makes Korea special is just the scope and how many different types of rice dishes we have here. So we put together a couple of recipes for you. So why don't we take a look?
Waking up to a breakfast like this makes facing a day like that so much easier. And here in Korea, there's even a word, papshin. It means the sort of strength and energy that you get from a bowl of rice. And you have white rice and you have all these different other types of rice too. Brown rice, you have other grains that are mixed into it. But today, I'm starting my day off with a snowy white, steaming sweet bowl of white rice.
So we're here at Igashinga, and if you take a look at the inside, this is what's known as a hanok, which is the traditional style of Korean housing, and I really like that trend. But what I like even more is this. Listen closely. Do you hear that? Still sizzling right here in the pot. So you have this beautiful rice that continues to cook inside this torso. It's full of vegetables, it's got rice in there, it's got seafood, pretty much everything that's good for you. And these abalone, these are as fresh as they get because they were live just minutes ago. They have a tank over here, so they're able to hold live abalone. So it's fresh until the moment it's cooked. It's fantastic. See, now this is the best part. If bibimbap were a cake, this would be the frosting. It's like when you toast bread, it gets toasty and crunchy and delicious. Same thing with rice. You know, there are some people out there who think that this is burned and they get rid of it. Ridiculous. Now, we're here at Tungmunamu, and that's what they specialize in here, yaksanbap. So one of their most popular dishes involves lotus root, gardenia seeds, and burdock root. Lotus root, it helps block toxins in your body, and the burdock is great for cholesterol. Gardenia seeds, they help thin out the blood. But how does it taste? Let's find out. Ooh, the color is amazing in this one. It's very mild. There's a subtle sweetness to it, but the texture is fantastic in here. And that's tricky, especially when you're cooking it all in one pot like this. It takes a deft hand and expert timing. So this next dish that I'm going to try, it's actually rice that's been steamed with various nuts and seeds. When you eat nuts, you don't actually digest everything that you eat. You mainly digest the proteins first, and oftentimes the fat will actually just pass right through you. So it's a great way to get protein and flavor without that extra fat, or at least not as much as you thought you were getting. I didn't expect there to be such a wide variety in here. There's, you know, I see pine nuts, walnuts, sunflower seeds, ginkgo nuts. List goes on. It's almost like a granola bar in a bowl. With the addition of things like walnuts, I've never had a steamed walnut before. It's really good. So this is Seoul Mangetok Cafe, and here you can have rice for dessert. This is known as yakshik. It's interesting because it's rice. I mean, there's no denying it. This one, you know, it has the texture and flavor of rice, but it works so well as a dessert. It's just so good. There's wonderful chewiness to it. And the lotus leaf that's used to wrap it up as well gives it this extra little bit of aroma to it. And the whole package is just... Again, it's rice. How crazy is this? Now, shikhae, it's really interesting. This is made from rice. How crazy is that? It's got a great sweetness to it. It is perfectly sweet in the sense that it's sweet, but it's not sugary, if that makes any sense. So I hope we've been able to show you just how versatile rice can be. It can be anything from medicine to dessert to, you know, just the perfect way to start your day. You know, Koreans, we eat rice probably more than anything else. And for good reason too. It's because when it's prepared properly, there's nothing better.
Yum.
Looks yummy. You brought some yakshik for us.
That's right. We got some breakfast here today in the studio.
Ooh, let's dig in, guys.
And let Matthew talk.
Actually, I always bring my own.
Right, and this yakshik, Koreans have been eating it for decades and centuries, no?
It's an incredibly old dish. It actually dates back to the Shilla dynasty.
Oh.
And so the story behind this is that, it's a dish that was created by, was one of the kings of the Shilla dynasty because, let me see if I got this right. A crow, which had red feathers, whispered into his ear that was news that there's going to be a coup d'état, that someone's going to try to overthrow the government. And in order to thank this crow who had red feathers, he created this dish which has the techu, the jujubes, which are red. And over the years, different ingredients have been added. While it's not the most whimsical story, it does show just how far back this dish goes. How long we've been enjoying this dish. And it continues to evolve and to change over the years, but very subtly. I think most of the times people tend to stick to the traditional version of yakshik.
All thanks to that crow.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And lots of history there. But Korean rice, it's rather glutinous. It's different from the rice that you would get, for example, from Mexico or from other parts of the world like Thailand and the Philippines. It's glutinous. What's the difference there and also the nutritional values there?
Oh, absolutely. There's a huge wide gamut of nutritional content and values when it comes to rice. Now, there's two basic types of rice, long grain and short grain. Long grain is a little bit fluffier, a little bit drier. Short grain, it's what we'll call like stickier rice or glutinous rice. And that's what we have here in Korea. Now, as far as nutritional value goes, that mainly depends on, interestingly enough, where it's been grown. The soil content actually has a lot to do with the final nutritional content. So that's in Korea. That's why we like to get a wide variety of grains into our rice. We'll have things like ogokbap, which are rice with a variety of grains in them. So especially if you add the black rice or the red rice, that's full of anthocyanins, which is a powerful type of antioxidant. So what to take away is get the widest variety of rice you can.
It's interesting that some rice you can actually blow, and some, they're sticky like that. That's how I tell the difference.
Exactly. So much nutrition in some of those rices that you showed us today, too.
Absolutely. And the types of rice around the world, it's a type of grass. So as a result, it can be grown practically anywhere.
And so many different dishes that you can make with rice. Just off the top of my head, I'm thinking chuk, porridge, and also tteok, rice cakes, right? And what else is there?
Oh God, I mean, where could we add? I mean, just off the top of my head, things like samgyetang, which is a chicken dish that's full of chapsar, glutinous rice. You have probably one of Korea's most famous dishes, bibimbap, and you have shikhae, we have right here.
It's a pity that our viewers can't see this because there's rice actually inside this string. It's quite good.
It's sweet.
Right.
But that's not the only beverage that can be created from rice. You could miso, or that's made from misugaru, which is a grain-based powder. It has a really sort of malty, caramelly, this sort of naturally dark sweetness to it.
There's also that one crowd favorite as well.
I'm trying to fish out rice from my drink to show our viewers.
What is Minjung doing?
No, I want to fish out the rice in this drink to show our viewers.
Someone please give her a spoon.
Not with much luck. But it's a really good and healthy drink too.
It is. It's sweet, but it's not. It doesn't really have a ton of sugar in it. So
but it's so sweet though.
Exactly. It does. So it's great for satisfying that sweet tooth without providing too many calories.
By far, it's my favorite winter drink.
It is. All right. Well, thank you, Matthew, for this.
Always a pleasure.
All right. That brings us to the end of our Friday edition of Korea Today.
It's not just the Friday edition, it's the first weekend of 2014.
That's right.
So enjoy your weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday morning at 7 a.m.